Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fluency Code, where you learn to speak English through real conversations. I'm Michael.
Hi, Michael. Hello to all our amazing listeners out there. I'm Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, thank you. A little excited, actually,
Excited? Why is that?
because today's topic is something I know will help so many people.
Oh, I agree. Today we're talking about a challenge that almost every English learner faces.
And what challenge is that?
The challenge of thinking in English instead of translating in your head.
Oh, yes, this is such a common problem. So many learners do this.
They do. Can you explain what we mean by translating in your head?
Sure, imagine you want to say something in English, but first you think the sentence in your native language.
Like Portuguese or Spanish or any other language.
Exactly. Then you try to translate each word into English before you speak.
And what's the problem with that?
Well, it takes a long time. By the time you finish translating, the conversation has moved on.
Right. People are already talking about something else.
And also, word-for-word translation often doesn't work. Languages are different.
Can you give an example?
Sure, in Portuguese, people say tenho fome, which literally means I have hunger.
But in English, we don't say I have hunger, we say I'm hungry.
Exactly. So if you translate word for word, it sounds strange.
It does. So what's the solution?
The solution is to train your brain to think directly in English. Skip the translation step completely.
That sounds difficult. Is it really possible?
It is possible, and we're going to show you exactly how to do it.
Before we continue, we want to ask you something.
If you're enjoying this conversation, please give us a like.
And subscribe to our channel. We create new episodes every week to help you improve your English.
It's free, and it really helps us reach more learners like you.
Thank you. Now, Jennifer, let's talk about why thinking in English is so important.
Okay, the main reason is speed. When you think in English, you speak faster.
Because you're not wasting time translating.
Right, your brain goes straight from thought to English words.
What else? Are there other benefits?
Yes, thinking in English also makes you sound more natural.
More natural. What do you mean?
When you translate, you often use strange grammar or word choices, but when you think in English, you use phrases that native speakers actually use.
Because your brain is working like a native speaker's brain.
Exactly. You start to feel the language instead of calculating it.
I like that phrase, feel the language instead of calculating it.
Another benefit is confidence. When words come quickly, you feel more confident speaking.
No more long pauses while you search for words in your head.
Right, you just speak, and even if you make small mistakes, you keep going.
That's how native speakers talk. They don't stop to fix every little error.
Exactly. Fluency is more important than perfection.
So, thinking in English helps with speed, naturalness, and confidence.
Yes, and one more thing, it helps with listening too.
Listening? How?
When you think in English, your brain processes English faster, so when someone speaks to you, you understand them better.
Because you're not trying to translate what they say into your language.
Right, you just understand it directly.
That makes sense. So, thinking in English is really the foundation of fluency.
It is. Without it, you'll always feel stuck in translation mode.
Okay, so now our listeners are probably wondering, how do I actually start thinking in English?
Great question. Let's talk about that next.
But first, let's talk about some mistakes people make when they try to think in English.
Oh yes, there are some common mistakes that actually make things harder.
What's the first mistake?
The first mistake is trying to think in complete, perfect sentences right away.
Trying to be perfect from the start.
Yes, beginners often try to think, I am going to the supermarket because I need to purchase some vegetables for tonight's dinner.
That's a long, complex sentence.
It is, and when you try to think like that, you get stuck. It's too much.
So, what should people do instead?
Start simple. Just think, I need vegetables. That's enough.
Short and simple.
Yes. As you practice more, your sentences will naturally get longer, but don't force it at the beginning.
What's another mistake people make?
Another mistake is giving up too quickly. People try for one day and think, this is too hard, I can't do it.
But learning to think in English takes time.
It does. Just like learning to ride a bike or play an instrument, you need practice.
How long does it usually take?
It depends on how much you practice. If you practice a little bit every day, you'll notice changes in a few weeks.
A few weeks, not overnight.
Definitely not overnight. But if you're consistent, it happens.
What's another common mistake?
Trying to translate idioms or expressions directly.
Idioms. Can you explain?
Sure, every language has special phrases that don't translate well. In English, we say, it's raining cats and dogs when it's raining heavily.
But if you translate that to another language word for word, it sounds crazy.
Exactly. So instead of translating, you need to learn these phrases as complete units.
Just memorize them as they are.
Yes, don't try to understand why we say cats and dogs. Just accept it and use it.
That's good advice. Okay, so we've talked about mistakes. Now let's talk about solutions.
Yes, let's give people practical steps they can follow.
Step 1. Start labeling things around you in English.
Oh, I love this one. It's so simple but so effective.
What does it mean to label things?
It means when you see an object, say its name in English in your mind.
Like if I see a chair, I think chair.
Exactly. If you see a door, think door. A window, think window.
So you're training your brain to connect objects directly with English words.
Yes, no translation needed. You see it, you think the English word.
Can you make it more challenging as you improve?
Absolutely. Instead of just thinking chair, you can think a brown wooden chair.
Adding adjectives.
Yes, or you can think about actions. I'm sitting on the chair, or the chair is comfortable.
So you start with simple words, then add more detail.
Exactly. Build up slowly.
What's the next step?
Step 2, talk to yourself in English.
Talk to yourself. People might think that's strange.
Maybe, but it works. You can do it silently in your head or out loud when you're alone.
What should people talk about?
Anything. Describe what you're doing. If you're making coffee, think, I'm boiling water. I'm putting coffee in the cup. Now I'm pouring the water.
Just narrate your actions.
Yes, like you're the narrator in a movie about your own life.
That's a fun way to think about it.
And the great thing is, there's no pressure. You can make mistakes because no one is listening.
It's just practice for yourself.
Exactly. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
What's step 3?
Step 3, stop using translation dictionaries.
Stop using them? Completely?
Well, if you're a complete beginner, you might need them sometimes, but as soon as possible, switch to an English-English dictionary.
An English-English dictionary. What's the difference?
A translation dictionary tells you the word in your language. An English-English dictionary explains the word using other English words.
Can you give an example?
Sure, if you look up the word happy in a translation dictionary, it might just say the word in your language.
Like feliz in Portuguese or felice in Italian.
Right, but in an English-English dictionary, it says feeling pleasure and enjoyment.
So you're learning the meaning in English.
Yes, and that keeps your brain in English mode. You're not jumping back to your native language.
That makes sense. What's the next step?
Step 4, create an English environment around you.
An English environment. What does that mean?
It means filling your daily life with English. Listen to English music, watch English videos, read English articles or books.
Surround yourself with the language.
Exactly. The more English you hear and see, the more your brain starts to think in English automatically.
It becomes your default mode.
Yes, if you only use English during study time, your brain won't switch to English thinking. But if English is everywhere in your life, it becomes natural.
So if I'm cooking, I could listen to an English podcast.
Perfect. Or if you're exercising, listen to English music and try to understand the lyrics.
And if I'm reading before bed, read in English.
Exactly. Every little bit helps.
What's the next step?
Step 5, practice thinking in English during specific times of day.
Specific times? Like what?
For example, every morning when you wake up, spend 5 minutes thinking about your day in English.
What will I do today?
Yes, Think, today is Tuesday. I have work at 9. I will have lunch at noon. After work, I will go to the gym.
Simple plans in simple English.
Exactly. And at night, before you sleep, review your day in English.
What did I do today?
Yes, today I went to work. I had a meeting. I ate pasta for dinner. It was a good day.
So morning and night become your English thinking times.
Yes, and once that becomes a habit, you can add more times during the day.
Like during your commute or lunch break.
Exactly. The goal is to make English thinking a regular part of your daily routine.
These are all great steps. Is there anything else people should know?
Yes, one more important thing. Don't be afraid of mistakes.
Mistakes are part of learning.
They are. When you're thinking in English, you will make errors. You'll use the wrong word or strange grammar.
But that's okay.
It's completely okay. The important thing is that you're practicing. Over time, your mistakes will decrease.
And even native speakers make mistakes sometimes.
Exactly. Perfection is not the goal. Communication is the goal.
I love that. Communication, not perfection.
Now, Michael, I want to ask our listeners something.
What do you want to ask?
I'm curious about their experiences. What is the biggest difficulty they face when learning English?
That's a great question.
Is it grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, or maybe something else?
Everyone has different challenges.
Exactly. So we want to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and tell us what is the hardest part of learning English for you.
Maybe it's thinking in English like we talked about today.
Or maybe it's understanding fast speakers or remembering new words.
Whatever it is, we want to know. Your answer will help us create better content for you.
And it will also help other learners. When you share your difficulty, someone else might say, "Oh, I have the same problem."
So you realize you're not alone.
Exactly. We're all learning together. So please, take a moment to write a comment. We read every single one.
Thank you. Now let's continue with more tips for thinking in English.
Yes, Jennifer, we've talked about daily practice, but what about when you're actually in a conversation?
Good question. Conversations can be stressful, especially when you're trying to think in English. What should people do?
First, take your time. Don't rush.
It's okay to pause and think.
Absolutely. Native speakers pause too. You can say, "Let me think," or while you organize your thoughts.
So pausing is normal.
Very normal. It's better to pause for a moment than to speak quickly with many mistakes.
What if you can't find the right word?
Then describe it using other words. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you can say, "the thing you use when it rains."
People will understand.
Yes, and often they'll help you. They might say, "Oh, you mean an umbrella."
And then you learn the word in context.
Exactly. That's actually better than looking it up in a dictionary.
Because you'll remember it more easily.
Yes, words you learn in real conversations stick in your memory better.
What if someone speaks too fast and you can't think in English fast enough to keep up?
It's okay to ask them to slow down. You can say, "Could you speak a bit slower, please?"
Most people will understand.
They will, and if you're in a class or with friends, they'll be happy to help.
Don't be embarrassed to ask.
Never be embarrassed. Everyone who learns a language goes through this.
What about when you're alone and you want to practice thinking in English?
There are some fun exercises you can do.
Like what?
One exercise is to imagine conversations. Pretend you're talking to someone about a topic.
Like a pretend conversation in my head.
Yes. For example, imagine you're at a restaurant ordering food. Think about what you would say.
I would like a salad, please, and a glass of water.
Exactly. You can practice the whole conversation. The waiter asks questions, you answer.
That's good preparation for real situations.
It is, and you can do this anywhere, while you're waiting for the bus, walking, or before you fall asleep.
Another mental practice exercise.
Yes, another exercise is to describe your surroundings in detail.
Describe what you see around you.
Right. Look around and think, "I see a blue wall. There's a clock on the wall. The clock says 3 o'clock. I see a bookshelf with many books."
Like painting a picture with words.
Exactly. The more details you add, the better.
This helps build vocabulary too.
It does. You'll discover words you don't know, and then you can look them up.
So it's both thinking practice and vocabulary building.
Yes, multi-purpose practice.
Jennifer, let's talk about something important. How long should people practice these exercises every day?
Good question. Quality is more important than quantity.
So it's not about studying for 5 hours.
No, even 15 or 20 minutes of focused practice is valuable.
The key word is focused.
Exactly. It's better to practice for 15 minutes with full attention than to study for 2 hours while distracted.
And consistency matters.
Yes, 15 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week.
Because your brain needs regular practice to build a habit.
Exactly. Think of it like exercise. If you want to build muscles, you need to work out regularly.
Not just once a month.
Right. The same with thinking in English. Regular practice builds the mental habit.
What if people feel like they're not making progress?
That's normal. Progress is often invisible at first.
Invisible?
Yes, you're improving, but you don't notice it day by day. It's like growing taller as a child. You don't see it happening, but one day you realize you've grown.
So you have to trust the process.
Exactly. Keep practicing even when you don't see immediate results.
And eventually you'll have a breakthrough moment.
Yes, one day you'll be speaking and you'll realize, hey, I didn't translate that. I just thought in English.
That must be an amazing feeling.
It is. And once you experience it, you'll know all the practice was worth it.
Now, Jennifer, before we finish, I want to tell our listeners about something important.
What's that?
If you're enjoying this conversation and finding it helpful, we have more episodes just like this.
That's right. We create new English learning content every week.
All our episodes are designed for learners. We speak clearly and use simple language.
So you can understand and learn at the same time.
We cover many different topics: grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, culture, and more.
Everything you need to improve your English.
If you want to keep learning with us, please subscribe to our channel.
When you subscribe, you'll get a notification every time we post a new episode.
So you never miss our content.
And it's completely free. Subscribing doesn't cost anything.
But it helps us a lot. It shows us that you appreciate our work.
And it helps other learners find us too.
So please click that subscribe button right now. It only takes 1 second.
Thank you so much. Your support means everything to us.
Now, let's finish with some final thoughts about thinking in English.
Yes. Michael, what's the most important thing you want listeners to remember?
I want them to remember that thinking in English is a skill, not a talent.
A skill, not a talent. What's the difference?
A talent is something you're born with. A skill is something you develop through practice.
So anyone can learn to think in English.
Anyone. It doesn't matter where you're from or how old you are.
If you practice, you will improve.
Exactly. What about you, Jennifer? What do you want listeners to remember?
I want them to remember to be patient with themselves.
Patient. Why is that important?
Because learning takes time. You will have good days and bad days.
Some days you'll feel fluent, other days you'll struggle.
Exactly, and that's completely normal. Don't get discouraged on the bad days.
Just keep practicing.
Yes, progress isn't a straight line going up. It goes up and down, but the overall trend is upward.
As long as you keep practicing, you're moving forward.
Exactly. Even on days when it feels hard, you're still improving.
One more thing I want to add. Make it fun.
Yes, learning should be enjoyable.
If you're bored, you won't continue. Find ways to make English fun for you.
Watch shows you enjoy. Listen to music you like. Read books about topics you're interested in.
When learning is fun, it doesn't feel like work.
It feels like entertainment that also happens to teach you something.
Exactly. Okay, Jennifer, I think we've covered everything for today.
We have. This was a great conversation.
Before we say goodbye, let's do a quick review of the main points.
Good idea. First, thinking in English is important because it makes you speak faster and sound more natural.
Second, start simple. Don't try to think in perfect, complex sentences right away.
Third, practice doily exercises like labeling objects, talking to yourself, and creating an English environment.
Fourth, don't be afraid of mistakes.
They're a natural part of learning.
And finally, be patient and consistent. Progress takes time, but it will come.
Thank you all so much for listening today.
We hope you found this helpful. Remember to leave a comment telling us your biggest difficulty in learning English.
And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes like this one.
Keep practicing, keep thinking in English, and we'll see you next time.
Until then, happy learning, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.